This right here is a security camera, and it is roughly the same size as 2 Canon batteries. And while there are cameras that are smaller than it, it does have one feature that I think you're really going to like. So this right here is a security camera by Milledge, and that's Mub with a B, not Mud with a D. And they reached out and asked if I wanted to do a quick review of the security camera. And I am always looking for any way to add some security to the house. So I said, absolutely. So what do you get when you order this security camera? So in the box, you get your usual instruction manual. You also get a little sticky piece that allows you to adhere this to a shelf or a wall or something. You get the base, and the base can actually be put on either the back or the front of the unit. And then they also include a little bit of hardware, 1 screw and 1 wall mount, because on the base, it does have one little place where you can put a screw so that you can mount this to a wall. And that's it. That is everything that comes in the box for this. Now onto the camera itself. As I already said, it is very small. It is a very, very compact unit. There are probably smaller out there. There are smaller action cameras for sure, but this camera only shoots in 1080. And while I can already hear people being like, oh, it's not 4K, 6K, 8K, honestly, you don't need that much. 1080 is actually pretty good for what most people need. I know you can't get the clarity sometimes if you wanted to zoom in on a dark image. Yes, I would love for there to be a bigger sensor, but it only shoots in 1080. It then has all the typical features that every other security camera seems to have these days. It has motion detection. It can shoot at night. It has a built-in siren. It has built-in two-way audio to where you can talk to somebody and they can talk back. It has playback. It comes with a handy little app. It has a micro SD or TF card slot there on the back. Speaking of the back, it also has a USB-C outlet for where you can charge the battery. There's also a power button as well as a reset button. So let's talk about the app. It is actually the Milledge app, and this is what it looks like when you log in. And one of the cool things that a lot of these have nowadays is you are able to have multiple devices. So you can go through and you can have kitchen, you can have living room, and then you hit the play button. And actually one of the neat things that I like is you can create an encrypted view. So you can set a passcode. There is the view. So you can turn it sideways, get a better view. Not a bad little selfie camera, if I say so myself. So like I was saying, you can take a screenshot, you can do intercom, you can do the siren, you can record, all the different things. You can also get the album. You can look at your history. If you buy a subscription, you can use the cloud. And that's one of the things is, yeah, you need to get a subscription if you want to use their cloud service, which, it's not that big of a deal. It runs off your house's Wi-Fi. If you're like me and have 5G versus standard, you've got to, go with the standard version. You can't go 5G on the Wi-Fi. So this camera is actually very reasonably priced at only $55. And while that's a great price, there are a couple things that I think it could do better for the price. Number one is, like I said, this has motion sensor. So when it kicks on, there's actually an audible click, like you hear. So if you're in a quiet room and you're trying to be quiet, like sneaking around to steal something, you very well could hear that. So not the biggest fan of that. Also, it tends to have little red sensors pop in right here. You can't really see them right now, but there are 2 red sensors right there. And those kick on when it turns on. So if you're trying to hide this, people are going to see it. Hate to tell you, but it's going to be seen. So it's not the most clandestine thing on the planet. But again, $55, nice, really good piece of equipment. And we're still getting to the number one reason why I actually do like this. But one other thing that I'm not the biggest fan of, and maybe I just haven't played with the app enough on this, and that is I can only get it to record 10-second clips. But I have taken the micro SD card out to look at what the picture looks like compared to what I'm seeing in my phone, and it's pretty good. You know, it's 1080, it's not 4K. For the size of this camera, it's not going to be an amazingly big sensor, so it is going to have, you know, it's going to have some issues. It's not going to do really, really well in low light. The black and white night view isn't the greatest. I can see some problems if you're trying to catch somebody on camera, but it at least, you know, it shows you that somebody was there. But the thing that I don't like about it, as far as the recording goes, is I can only get it to do 10-second intervals. Like, it'll record for 10 seconds and there'll be a lull, and then it'll kick back on and record for another 10 seconds. And I would really like to be able to set that manually. Like, I would like to say, I want it to go for 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, and then turn off. I don't like that it only does 10 seconds. Like, I would like to say that. It does do loop recording, so the older stuff gets deleted with newer things. Almost lost it. But all in all, pretty solid little camera. Just those three little things, the audible click, the lights, the little red sensors going off, and then the fact that you can't say, I want a 20-second clip, I want a 30-second clip, I want a minute clip. Those are the three things that I would change in the next iteration of this. But the one thing that I would not change about this that I absolutely love is the battery life on this. If you look at this, it's pretty small. It is a very small device. But this thing lasted 3 whole weeks in my kitchen. I put it somewhere where I was like, there's heavy traffic between my wife, me, and the kid. We're always getting snacks. It's also one of the spots where my dog loves to go during the day, and she's always tripping this thing. But yeah, it lasted for 3 solid weeks. And part of that's because, you know, there's no screen on this. It really is just the camera, the sensor, 2 other sensors, some fans, probably the microphone right up there, the speaker on one side, and that's it. But for 3 weeks, I didn't have to worry about this. And I tested it, I checked it morning, noon, and night. I was always looking at it. I was talking to Luna through it, trying to, you know, get her attention, just putting it through its paces. And for 3 weeks, it didn't die, or it didn't die for 3 weeks, and then it finally did. And then it was just as simple as plugging in a USB-C cord to the back right there again, and it was fully charged again. And it's now been going for another week, almost a week and a half. So that is the battery-powered security camera by MubView. I'm going to drop a link down in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. $55 on Amazon. Not bad, not a lot of wires to deal with, easy to install app, easy to get it running with just a little power button and a reset. So yeah, if you are looking to upgrade your security system at home, you know, it's a relatively inexpensive and pretty easy to use system, and I think you could get a lot of good use out of it. As always, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider hitting like. If you don't already, hit subscribe, and I will catch you in another video.